first order of business will be making sure all the kingdoms are welcome, even Wonderland.
No.
This is for Princess Red.
The Queen of Hearts!
I have been waiting years to be invited back.
You said that Oridon is the worst.
With my daughter there, it might not always be.
Wait, really?
Put on something respectable for once.
Hey Howard, how's it going?
Hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. How you doing? Good morning, huh?
Morning, yeah. What time is it over there?
It's just gone 6:30 over here, so it's a little bit later on, yeah.
Right on.
Thanks very much for speaking to me. I know you're a busy guy, and I think you had to go and do you got to do some measuring now for an outfit or something later on, no?
Yeah, right after this, I'm I'm heading over, gonna get a fitting done, and then I think I have 4 or 5 more interviews today, so it's a long one, but I'm happy.
No, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's like so you're. I mean, have you done a few things before? But this is like a really big thing for you, no? The Disney movies. I mean, to get a foot into the Disney door is like
Yeah.
a big,
It's
big move.
huge thing, yeah. I mean, I feel like there's just been a million Disney stars that have gone on to do incredible things, so it's really cool.
Uh-huh.
Do you
So I
play
mean,
guitar?
Sorry.
Do you play guitar?
I try. I've got kids, so it's a bit harder than it used to be. But no, yeah, I try. I
Oh,
think
gotcha.
I think I was watching a video. I presume it's you because there's not a lot on YouTube. I was watching. I think you. I don't know if you still do, but I think you played in a band as well, no?
Yeah, I did. Well, I think it was the video where I was like on guitar, right? And
Is it called the Mint or something like that? I can't remember now. I was
yeah,
watching
the
it.
Mint. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I don't have a band, but I would love to have a band. That would be awesome. I pulled together some of my friends and we did this just incredible performance, and that was my first time performing in a band, and
Really? That was the first gig?
first time.
Really?
First
It
time.
doesn't look like it, so.
It was great. It was so cool. I felt like Bon Jovi like shredding up on the guitar.
Uh-huh. That was
It
great.
was
What,
awesome.
I mean, what kind of music are you into? Because that's completely the opposite of what I was expecting to see. Because I was like, I'm going to speak to this guy about a Disney movie, and then this was completely the opposite. Yeah, what kind of stuff do you listen
All
to?
sorts of stuff. I will be honest. If you were to look at my Spotify playlist, you would be thoroughly confused as to what my my favorite genre is, because I'm all over the place. I mean, I love I obviously like love pop and rap, R&B, and then I'm a theater kid, so musical theater, of course.
Right.
And then, but I'm from kind of the country, so I listen to country music as well.
Right.
It's I'm all over the place.
Eclectic mix now. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, I mean, how did you get into this? What came first? 'Cause I know you like your music and you've obviously done a lot of acting. What came first out of those two? And where did that kind of come from?
It was kind of a culmination of the both. I started doing well, I was in a choir when I was young, and it was a professional touring choir, and that toured all over the world. Actually, over to the UK we did a tour, which is really
All right.
cool. And that got me involved with opera and professional musical theater, and I started doing a lot of that in Minnesota, and I did that my entire childhood while I was doing sports and school, and it was just it was a seamless transition into becoming my life. It was just what I love to do and my passion. So
That's quite curious that you got into opera at a young age. It's not, I mean, I don't over here, definitely no, but over there, is that something that there was quite a few kids used to hang around with that did opera as well? Because it's not a particularly
that was
popular
definitely
thing.
because of choir that I got into
Right.
opera. My director had a bunch of connections at some universities near me, so I started doing operas with them, and then I started doing operas with more professional theaters, and I guess it was very different than anything else I had done, but it was fun. I mean, singing
Yeah.
is so great, and it put me in touch with a more classical nature.
Uh-huh. And so obviously you got into that kind of the singing. It's obviously the singing part of everything was kind of what started everything off. But how did you then branch out into more of the acting side of things?
Sure. I was doing the opera and I was doing the choir, and there was a director, I forget her name, but there was a director that put me in touch with these other directors in the cities, I mean, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I was in a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul, so we called it like the cities because it was the big city, like outside of the country, you know. And I just started auditioning, and it was fun. It was great to gain experience. There were a lot of no's, but once I started getting yeses, it was addicting, you know. And I did a show at the Pantages Theater in Minneapolis, which was incredible. I think I think that seats like maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people. That was one of the huge sparks in my creativity and my inspiration to keep moving forward as an actor. Just having the ability to be on a stage so incredible at such a young age. I was like my eyes were widened and I was like, whoa, this is incredible. I want to do it for the rest of my life.
Huh? But what was kind of the spark there when you said you were in kind of in front of 1,000, 2,000 people? What was the spark? Was it the feeling that you got being on stage, or was it also kind
Sure.
of the feeling that you got afterwards, probably speaking to people that had seen you and kind of both
I'm glad you asked this question.
praising
It was
you and criticizing you, but I way in kind of in a good way, no? Trying to help you to kind of to improve your trade, no?
No, totally. There was a bit of both of all of that, along the way. But I was actually an understudy for that show. So for a majority of the show, I was not on stage. I was backstage. In fact, whenever there were newsboys, it was Gypsy, and there were newsboys in the show, and there were about four of them. And I was a swing for them, and I was an understudy, which meant I covered all of their roles and all the different contrasting dance parts. And every night I would perform in front of a brick wall,
Right.
except for a couple parts during the show. Um, and the other boys would be on stage, and I would be there ready to go on whenever needed. And it was something, it was something about that put a sense of working hard gives a retribution of or like a reward, I guess. Like working hard pays off is what I'm trying to say. I so many great things came from that, even though that I was performing to a wall and not getting the chance to get on stage except for a few different parts throughout the show. That was that was very inspirational. There were some wonderful people that I met that helped me out after they saw the work that I was putting in, and it was a special time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but I mean, I imagine performing in front of a brick wall kind of helps you, maybe prepares you more so than normal theatre, because that kind of prepares you in a way to be in front of cameras and to be in front of not a physical audience but cameras, no?
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think also the camera stuff came in a little bit later, and it was a weird transition coming from theater to on-screen stuff. Any actor who's gone from theater to on-screen will tell you about it. It's suddenly you have mics and you start talking super loud, and the mic person
Yeah.
comes over to you and sound person, they're like, my ears, they're burning, they're bleeding.
Yeah. Huh? So I mean, how did you? I mean, bring it more to the present day. How did you hone things after your theatre background? How did you kind of hone your skills once you got onto a set like this film for Disney, for example?
Sure. Well, the one thing that I like to say is acting, it transcends all media platforms. It As long as you have a sense of who you are and you're truly acting from the soul, you can go into these different worlds, and it's quite similar in some ways as long as you're familiar with what's going on. I started getting into film maybe sometime in high school. I was doing short films. I was working with like colleges, universities, doing student films with them, and that was fantastic. It was super fun, great learning experience, and I started getting more attention, started doing more films, and trying different things, traveling and meeting new people. And then I went off to university here in the States and in LA because I wanted to pursue acting. And I'm at Loyola Marymount University, and that place is fantastic. It has a film program and an acting program, so I'm able to collaborate with the people there. And then also when I'm working professionally, it's two different worlds where I can learn a lot of great things. But then I got this movie, and that has been life-changing. It's such a blessing.
And how did you come across this audition? Did you just go to the casting for this one, or did
I
you
had,
was it actually through the school that you managed to get
no,
in
no,
touch
no.
with this guy? No,
All my professional stuff is separate from the school. I have a
right.
great team that works with me to get auditions and to do press like this. It's fantastic. But I got the audition through my agent at the time, and I did the audition. Actually, I did the audition at school because it was still a little bit of COVID time. So
Right.
everything is on Zoom. Actually, most auditions these days,
Most of
everything
it
is on.
since COVID, no, it's all on Zoom now. Yeah.
Yeah. But everything's on Zoom for callbacks, and proper auditions in the beginning are on camera, self-tapes, all of
Yeah.
it. So I never went in person for this film. Everything was done out of
Uh-huh.
like a small room at my college with a roommate. So that was funny, trying to make sure that people were quiet when I had to
Yeah.
talk with
Again, that talking to a brick wall is also, it must have served brilliantly for this as well, no? To just
yeah,
kind of speak to
exactly.
the camera, because I enjoy doing my interviews, but I just speaking to the camera for like Instagram, so I just cannot do that at all. So obviously that must have helped you in a big way.
Totally. I mean, vivid imagination is everything. There were actually a couple points where when shooting Descendants, since we had a lot of minors on set who were playing some of the actors, they could
Mhm.
only work for a certain period of time before they had
Right.
to be let off for the day just because of regulations. And sometimes we had to shoot scenes that were with them later in the day. So sometimes we didn't have them to act with. So we were in a sense talking to that brick wall or using our vivid imaginations to create this Disney world, to create this magical world. And that was quite fun. It was
Uh-huh.
difficult, but it was fun.
Uh-huh. Sure. I mean, so this film is, I think it's the fourth film in the series. So
Yeah.
coming into that as a newbie, how do you approach that? Because I mean, they've had three films before. I think the previous one was actually an animated film. So how did you kind of amass all of that, take it in, and
It's
and bring your own version of this character?
I think it's really special what's going on here. There's a franchise that has become a childhood for many people, that has become extremely special to millions of people. And knowing that, and actually being a fan myself coming into this, there's a lot that I felt needed to be honored while doing this movie.
Hmm.
And I think I think that I wanted to make sure that the fan inside me felt satisfied with my performance, with everybody else's performance. And after seeing the movie, I think that everyone's gonna love it. It's
Hmm.
it's a great new movie to the Descendants world. And it's not it's I think some people should know this, but we're expanding on a new world. We're looking into Wonderland, and it's gonna be a fun one.
Mhm. So I mean, talking of Wonderland, I know that there's a lot of like very, like you said, there's a the whole legacy. There's all these kind of characters there. That must have been. I mean, obviously going to work with Disney is one thing, but then going on set and you're working with Captain Hook, Aladdin, all these different characters. That must just feel insane, no?
Yeah, it does. It does. And it feels even more insane to call myself a Disney villain. Like,
Yeah.
that is crazy. That I never in my life would I have ever imagined that something like this would happen. And you're right about this. When I am on set and when the cameras are rolling, everyone is locked in, right? And it's a beautiful thing because you look over on your right and there's Jasmine and Aladdin. I got Captain Hook next to me because we're gonna go do some evil stuff, and and then there's like tentacles and like all this crazy stuff going on, and it's it's a beautiful, and it's so much fun to do. It,
Mhm. Yeah, I
Disney's
can
a
imagine.
wonderful group to work with.
Because I mean, I've only seen the trailer, but the effects there look amazing. But then I was reading about the actual film. The director said that a lot of that was, I think it was actually on set, and she tried to just add certain little things afterwards. So how much of what we see? I mean, I've not seen the whole film, but how much of what you see in the film was actually there? Because I know that their Star Wars series and things like that, they have huge, massive screens to
Sure.
kind of recreate the whole planets and everything. What was it like on set
I
here?
think there were green screens. There was a lot of VFX work being done. So you'll definitely see that. Because it is a magical world. So things like the Black Lagoon and some of the, like the skies in the background are green screen. And there's some other stuff that I can't say that's coming in,
Mhm.
but I don't I think a majority of the stuff did happen all on set. It was more so filling in the background because we're on sound stages, so they have to put green screens up in the background and to develop that world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Captain Hook there. I understand a little bird told me, I was just speaking to a little bit, I think he's interviewed you already, that you built quite a bromance with Captain Hook now, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, Josh and I are good friends. he's an incredible actor, incredible person, and within the movie we are the henchmen of Uliana, which is a lot of fun. It's good to be evil
Uh-huh. And
in,
tell me
in
a
a
little
movie.
bit. Oh, you
In a
definitely.
movie.
I'm so about. I mean, I imagine you've made friends with pretty much all the cast because I mean, you said that a lot of them are quite young, about your age. Now, I imagine you've networked a great deal as well. Now, I made a lot of friends that you'll hopefully
More
catch
so
again
than
on other
that,
sets.
we're like a family. It's incredible. We have a group chat. I was just talking to them prior to this, and we talk all the time. We FaceTime. And when we were on set shooting, we did just super fun stuff. Like I think it was Valentine's Day or the Super Bowl. There was some event that was happening. We got together and we made like breakfast and had just fun group family time. Played the guitar, played games, watched movies. It
Oh,
was
that's
it was
great.
wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. But tell me a little bit about the director because I know the director. She's done quite different things beforehand. I mean, she's done episodes of Riverdale, The Exorcist, The Boys, things like that. So it must have been really fun to work with her as well, no?
She's awesome. Jennifer's fantastic. It was so cool to work it with a new director. Whenever I hop from project to project, it's always a completely different experience. And working with her, she created this environment where we felt very comfortable working with each other and communicating, and that's really important in my opinion when you're on a set. She did these fun things in the beginning to get to know each other, where we went and did like little games. I forget what it's called. We did this like escape room where
Right.
we had to like collaborate, or we went ziplining, and I really valued that because I got to know her and a bunch of the other team much better before we actually started shooting, and then when we were on set, the collaborative experience was fantastic.
Brilliant. Listen, I'm going to let you go because I know you've got a fitting coming up. So just to finish off, then, obviously you've got the Descendants film coming out now. But is there anything that you can tell us that you're prepping right now, or that you hope to do very soon?
Yeah, well, I'm actually working on a movie called Scraps right now,
Right.
and you can't check it out yet. The movie isn't released yet. We have a short going on and then a feature coming up, but that's about a kid in Montana who falls in love, and it's a coming of age story, and it's a skateboarding movie. So check it out
Uh-huh.
when it comes out, and I
Yeah, I
think you
think I've
guys will
seen
enjoy it.
something about that on YouTube. I think. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Is that something
yeah.
you've done with colleagues from university, or is that something else?
No, it's
That's something else
separate.
that you. Yeah, it's separate as well.
Completely independent. It was such a
Yeah.
funny experience meeting the director. It all just fell in happen chance, and it's been a
Uh-huh.
fantastic
Yeah.
experience. It's
Fantastic.
great movie.
Whose side are you on?
Say it. Sorry. What's my name? What's my name?
Is that the looking glass?
What's it do? It shows you the future.
Have you looked?
No, why would I want to spoil a surprise? I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Oh,